Welcome to Twitchy's World.
Hello. Today we're going to draw a winter forest scene. I started by sketching some trees and some mountains. I knew I wanted a big tree in the middle with some decorations and maybe some animals around it. Then I filled in a light blue sky color and the mountains. The mountains were just supposed to be a sketch, but I ended up liking the way they turned out, so I left most of them. I drew one big green tree in the middle and duplicated it to place where the background trees could go. I added some shading and some highlights with the oil hairbrush to look like leaves and branches. I redrew it several times to make it look right. I drew some ornaments, but it was too many ornaments, so I drew a pink ribbon wrapping around the tree. I went back to the background and tried to add some shading to the snow layers and some more mountains in the back to hide the ones that I erased. I wasn't sure where the background trees would go just yet, so I just mirrored them. Then I drew one round purple ornament and shaded it with the airbrush and drew the silver part at the top. Then I used the FX hue shifter to make different colors, and I placed those around the tree. I had to remember later to go back and draw all the little hooks for each ornament. I wanted to draw an ornament that was a different shape, but I didn't like the way it looked. So I drew a pink bow instead. I used the symmetry tool and then turned it off to do the shading so it would look like it was tied. It was a little bit difficult, but I think it looks cute and it matches the ribbon. Then I tried again to draw a different shaped ornament. I wanted it to be more round in the middle and then like skinnier at the bottom. I don't know. I still didn't like it. I changed some of the colors on the background trees so they would look a little bit different. And then I placed more in the background. I made two in like the mid-ground area so it would look like a forest and not a line of trees. I made the tree on the right a little taller and thinner using the perspective tool. I finished the other shaped ornament and changed the color of that one and placed them around the tree. I changed more of the background tree colors. I changed the order that the mountains were in. I added a layer of snow on top so that it would cover the bottoms of the trees. Just a little bit. I added a layer of falling snow with the felt tip pen heart. And I drew a gold star on the top of the tree. I saved all these layers as transparent images and used them to make the calendars and the puzzles. Then I got really brave and put the images into grease pencil and Blender. I want to make the animation in there. I still don't know how to draw in grease pencil, but I can add images. Later, I came back to the drawing and I used the symmetry tool to draw a bird. I wanted the bird to be flying so that he can decorate the tree. I had a difficult time with the bird, but I just kept using the liquify tool until it looked mostly like a bird. Then I couldn't decide which wing would be like the bottom and which one would be the top, so I kept drawing the face and the beak differently. And then I went back and moved the feathers on the wings around a little bit more. And then I decided to just start shading them and then figure out where they're supposed to be. I went back and changed the shading on the feathers and the body several times to make it look more like a bird. I wanted the feathers to be a dark blue. I probably should have used a textured brush for the body and feathers, but I just used the dip pen hard and the airbrush normal. And then I duplicated it and used the perspective tool to try to bend the wings so that it would look like it was flying. And I accidentally made a GIF. I just wanted 2 images to flap. I changed the color of the bird and made a red bird and a brownish bird, and had to separate the ribbon onto 4 different layers so that I could animate it later. I will probably use Canva for the animation. And then I drew a bunny in front of the tree. I started by sketching the shape of the bunny and used the liquify tool to make changes to the lines for the ears and the feet mostly. Then I lowered the opacity of that layer and made a new layer on top. I had a hard time getting the shape right because I wanted it to look like it was sitting but also could be used as if it was hopping. So I just kept redrawing it on top and using the liquify tool. When I put the images in Blender, I noticed that the mountains had some empty places since I didn't really plan them. So I went back in and filled in the empty spots and made it look more like a mountain range by itself. Then I fixed the snow layers a little bit. They were a little too gray and you could see the brush strokes. I moved the mid-ground trees a little bit. And then I went back to the bunny. I clipped a layer on top and shaded with the airbrush. Then I used the fur brush on the clipped layer and then also on a new layer on top so that the fur would cover the edges. I made his tummy and his tail a little bit lighter, and then I drew his face, a little gray bunny friend. I needed the background trees to be a little bit bigger to make a picture for something, so I saved an image with them bigger, and then I placed all the animals in their spots for their picture. I decided to add the sloth from last year. Here's an animation of the animals bringing presents after the tree is already decorated. Thanks for watching. Have a happy day.